Let's talk about the places we work. They're changing, right? And faster than ever before. They're more diverse, for sure, but what does that actually mean for the people in them? In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on some of the hidden barriers that still exist, explore the very real value of having a diverse team, and ask what it really takes to build a workplace where everyone feels like they truly belong.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the new reality of today's workplace. Then we'll get into the weeds on the barriers and biases that are often hiding in plain sight. From there, we'll picture what a truly multicultural organization looks like, uncover some pretty surprising benefits of diversity, and then we'll tackle the tough, real-world challenges. And finally, we'll look at the path forward.
Okay, let's dive right in. I want you to just think for a second about the workplace from, say, a few decades ago. Now picture today's. It's a completely different world, isn't it? The faces, the backgrounds, the perspectives, they've all shifted, creating this vibrant, but yeah, also pretty complex, new landscape for every single organization out there.
And this isn't some slow-moving trend. I mean, this is happening fast. Even a decade ago, more than a third of the U.S. workforce was made up of minority groups. That number is only going up. We're actually on a trajectory where the U.S. will become a majority-minority nation, meaning no single ethnic group will form the majority. That is a massive, massive shift.
But here's the catch. Just because you have more diversity in the building doesn't automatically mean you have equal opportunity. We still have to talk about the glass ceiling, you know? That invisible barrier that can stop women and minorities from climbing to the very top. It's so tricky because it's subtle, but it is incredibly strong, and it's a clear sign that the work here is far from over.
So what's causing this gap? Why do different people have such different experiences at work? Let's dig a little deeper and diagnose the root causes. From the biases we all might hold as individuals, to the bigger systemic issues that are kind of baked into the system itself.
It really starts with getting two key terms straight. Prejudice, that's what's going on in your head. It's an attitude, a feeling. But discrimination, that's what you do. It's an action. You can have one without the other, sure, but when they team up, they create some seriously powerful barriers for people.
And you know, these barriers aren't just about individual attitudes. A lot of the time, they're woven right into the social fabric of a company. Think about it. When women and minorities are left out of those informal networks, you know, the after-work drinks, the golf games, the lunch groups, they miss out on crucial information, on building alliances, and on finding mentors. And that stuff is absolutely key to getting ahead.
And then there's this heavy weight called tokenism. Just imagine you're the only person from your background in a meeting. Suddenly, you're not just seen as you, an individual, you become a representative for your entire group. The astronomer Jan Levin just nails it with this quote. It's like, why is it her job to solve sexism on top of her actual job as a scientist? It's an exhausting and totally unfair burden.
So, with all these challenges on the table, what's the end goal? I mean, what does a truly great inclusive organization actually look like? Well, let's explore the model for a genuinely multicultural workplace. This model from researcher Taylor Cox gives us a really clear blueprint. See, a truly multicultural organization isn't just about hitting some diversity numbers. No way. It's about creating a place where minorities are represented at every level, where they're included in the social fabric, and where every single person feels a true sense of belonging. It's about building a workplace that is fundamentally free from bias and conflict. And here's the kicker. Building an organization like that, it isn't just the right thing to do. It's also the smart thing to do. It creates real, tangible advantages that can make a company way more successful.
This is what people often call the business case for diversity. And it lays out 6 super clear arguments for why diversity pays off. It helps you attract the absolute best talent, it gives you better insight into your customers, and it sparks way more creativity. And honestly, maybe the most important one is that having more perspectives at the table just leads to better decisions, better problem solving, and a more adaptable company overall. But of course, none of this is easy. Let's be real. The path from where most organizations are today to becoming truly multicultural, well, it's filled with some complex and often really sensitive challenges that have to be navigated very, very carefully.
Even programs with the best intentions can get tricky. I mean, take affirmative action. It has absolutely opened doors for a lot of people, but it's also been, well, controversial. And if it's not handled carefully, it can actually create resentment and make some people feel like the system is unfair.
Another huge one is the constant juggle to balance work and home life, a burden that, let's face it, still often falls more heavily on working women. You see this in concepts like the mommy track or career off-ramps. And even when companies have family-friendly policies, the real test is whether people feel like they can actually use them without torpedoing their careers and without causing friction with their coworkers.
So, with all this complexity, how can organizations actually move forward in a way that means something? It really requires a pretty fundamental shift in how we even think about diversity in the first place.
The ultimate goal is to move beyond just managing diversity, treating it like a resource to help the bottom line. Instead, the focus has to shift to celebrating it. That means embracing diversity as a core value that makes the organization, its people, and its culture richer, completely separate from any business case.
And that brings us to a final, pretty crucial question for you to think about. In your own workplace, is diversity something that's being managed for business reasons, or is it genuinely celebrated for the incredible richness and value it brings all on its own? It's something worth chewing on.